Hi, I'm Robin Bramlett, and I love J. Ross TV.
What's up, y'all? Hanging out with my cat Robin. Robin just got through killing it in the loo for Jeanette Harris. Now, y'all know Robin is the bass player, the music director as well for Jazz and Pink, but she in St. Louis tonight hitting with Jeanette. And I've been knowing Robin for a long time. And she one of the most melodic and also stable bass players that you know, because you can hold that pocket, but you hold it with so much funk. I mean, it ain't just like boring hole. Now, where you learn that from, Ron?
I just grew up, playing along with records. I hear a song I like on the radio, and I start playing along to it, and caught the feel of, I feel music. So even when I first started playing, like eons ago, I just played along and wanted to get that same feel I was listening to on the radio.
So what about like the ad libs, dude? That you feel those too as they come up in a song on a turnaround or something like that?
Yeah, there's stuff that I feel. I mean, I listened to a whole lot of bass players, growing up, and I guess I kind of took what I liked from each of them and kind of just made my own little collage out of it, and little stuff here and there, and I just I come up with what I feel.
But hey, Robin, what is it like today you played bass, you held bottom down for Jeanette, but with the Jazz and Pink, you the MD, you do arrange intros and outros. What kind of headaches do each one bring about?
I mean, as an MD, you got to make sure not only you have to play your butt off, you got to make sure you know what everyone's role is. You have to know, what the keyboard player is supposed to be doing, what the drummer, guitar player. Because if they ask you questions, you got to be able to answer them, and you got to be able to articulate, how you want your arrangements to be done. Okay, well, play this chord, play that, or guitar, do this, or you have to be able to articulate stuff and be able to communicate.
Yeah.
And also, what's important as far as to be an effective musical director, especially, I'm not gonna say this is for all genres, but especially like in the jazz and R&B world, reading is pretty important, especially as you get older. Reading is like,
man.
It's not like, I'm not saying you should read, but the thing is, I just said something on say Cool Bunch's thing, because he posted something what he played on. He said, I sight read the whole thing, and I'm like, well, it don't sound like you're reading. See, that's the thing. You want to know how to read, but you don't want to sound like you're reading. You want to still be feeling the music and be into it.
Right.
But, reading comes with, when we start getting older, you don't want to be memorizing all these damn songs. I'm like, come on, all these gigs and all this stuff, and you got someone have a chart for you, like, cool, it's right here. And of course you're going to eventually memorize it if you keep playing it, but that's organization. Being an MD, organization is everything. You have to be organized.
So have you ever walked up on a gig and they just hand you the music and they count it off?
Yeah, that's happened before.
Yeah. What, no fear?
No what?
Fear.
No.
Because you've been through it already. You already know the game.
It is what it is. You just do what you got to do. It's like these days, I'm happy to see a chart.
Oh, yeah?
I'm happy to see it. Like, oh, cool, let's go.
Yeah. But what about like out in Cali, you fly to do it, Kern Briggs, I'm just trying to get a little insight on what your mindset is on different approaches to different people. Because like with Jeanette, you kind of got a jazzy funk. Kern, you got like a orchestra funk in a sense, and then with Jazz and Pink, y'all just be bringing heat, So like, where your mind be? How do you be feeling? How do you incorporate all this stuff into your brain and catalog it so you can bring it up?
It's all music. It's just different. That's pretty much it.
But it's different genres of music have different approaches, don't
it? You have a different approach. Just like if I'm on a rock gig, I'm going to, be in that role. If I'm on a Latin gig, I'm going to play in there. I'm going to do the tumbales and all that. I'm going to do that. If I'm on this gig, I'm going to, you learn different genres of music for one, and you get comfortable with that. That way, you can play just about any type of music.
Yeah. So your musical library in your head allows you to be able to do that.
Right, because I listen to a lot of stuff. I listen to a lot of music, and you know, being able to listen, well, being able to, how can I say this? Well, basically being able to absorb, you know, that, you know, the music that I've listened to over the years in different genres. I mean, I haven't really been genre specific. I mean, I have my favorites, but I listen to everything.
I got you.
And that really helps walking into any situation.
Yeah.
You know.
Hey, Rob, what about, like, say a cat live in, I don't want to call no city name, they get mad at me, but they live in nowhere land, and, you know, they might be the best musician, but there's not really a lot of opportunities for them to be noticed. Is there any kind of recommendations that you can give them, you know, to get themselves out there, to build themselves up and be prepared to be a professional musician?
Back in the day, it used to be move to LA, move to New York, move to Atlanta. These days, you got social media, you have YouTube, you have all that stuff. I would say stay on your game, play with people that are better than you, always, you know, so you can just keep going up and up. And, you know, put some videos out there, put some YouTube videos of you and your band. You know, not necessarily. There's a lot of cats, you know, doing stuff by themselves. That's cool too. I mean, I'm not knocking that at all. That's cool. But I mean, if someone, you know, really wants to be noticed and just want to get out there and wants to start playing with people, they got to show that they can play with people, not just by themselves. Okay, I can do all these many notes. Okay, but then when you get in a band, you can't play in a band.
Right.
You know, you can't, you know, hold down, you know, the bass line, a simple bass line for a band, because you got this stuff in your mind. I mean, that's cool, but that stuff is fine. When it's time for your solo, go for it. But, you know, when it's time to just hold that pocket, I mean, you know, a lot of songs we're playing tonight, you know, just straight pocket.
Right.
Just, you know, you're just sitting there. You know, it wasn't a lot of because really you don't want to upset the music. Because you don't see people in the audience doing this, you failed. You have failed at your job. If you are playing, and that's any instrument. I'm not just saying this to bass players.
Right.
This is for everyone. If folks in the audience are not grooving with you, guess what? You failed.
Yeah. Now, what about people, can you give them some encouragement, like, say, people who can't afford to move to L.A., Atlanta, New York, or to Lou, now in Chicago?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You have social media.
Yeah.
I mean, you have YouTube. You have the internet now. So that's not really necessary. I mean, you can just fly stuff in. I mean, if someone says, hey, I like your playing, I want you on my recording, you know, just have some type of recording equipment, you know, have like a MacBook PC with Logic, Pro Tools, something like that. And you can just record with someone and send it to them and make sure your PayPal and stuff is set up so you can get your money.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's not really about having to move to LA. I don't live in LA. I live far from it. But I mean, I've always said, I need to move to LA, I need to move to LA. And eventually I probably will get closer. But right now, I mean, I just make that drive. I do what I have to do to, you know, to make it happen.
Hey, well, speaking of money, last question. Is there any advice you can give to musicians coming up about trying to put something up or getting a job? I mean, because a lot of musicians don't like having a job when they playing because they think that diminishes their profile.
Well, let me tell you guys this. I have a job. I have a full-time job as a traveling social worker.
Yes, sir.
And I'm not ashamed of that. I have a job and I'm a full-time, basically a full-time musician and a full-time social worker. So multiple streams of income is key, especially now. I mean, cost of living is not like it was back in early. I mean, the cost of living is up there. I mean, just gigging alone, that's just not going to get it these days. I mean, unless you're doing something that's really big. And there's other areas of music. If someone's like, okay, day job is really not for everyone, and it's not. I mean, but there's other things in music that you can do too. I mean, get into, you know, trying to writing, get your stuff licensed, make sure you're up on, you know, how it works with publishing and royalties and that. I mean, there's so many ways to make money doing music. There's people out there I know that's doing sound design. I mean, it's a whole lot of facets. You don't have to just gig and live on just gigging. I mean, you can gig and have this other stuff on the side too. So I mean, there's just so much out there, you know, to do. But multiple streams of income. You got to have your multiple streams of income. Hey,
wash your car and drive Uber. That's all I can tell you. Well, hey y'all, we sitting in St. Louis with Robin Bramlett. She just got through putting it down. Had the bass lock and loaded on Jeanette Harris thing.